Hello, everybody. My name is Lisa Lamont, and I am hostess of Ladies Get Your Prance On. And each week, I bring a special expert into the house that's going to give you tips and tools and techniques to enhance your life, both personally and professionally. And so today in the house, all the way from cold Michigan, I'm here in Washington State, is Erin Strayer. Welcome, Erin.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Lisa. Thanks so much for having me on your show. I'm super excited to be here.
So you're the star of your own show. So first of all, talk about your show a little bit and the guests that you have on your show so people can maybe reach out and follow you on the show. I want to start off with that.
Yeah.
And then also, I love your title too. So go ahead and just kind of jump in and share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get the show rolling.
Sure. Yeah. So I am the host of the Erin Strayer Show. You were on a week or so ago with me, which was super fun. It runs every Tuesday and Thursday live. So there aren't any do-overs on my show. And that's all kept in my video vault. It's on my YouTube channel. It's on my website, the Erin Strayer Show. You can follow me there. That's super fun. And we talk to women. We cater to women that are in business, entrepreneurs that are doing things just a little bit differently, and we uplift and leverage them, and we talk about hot topics and pain points and pull that stuff out from underneath the rug, and we talk about it on the show. So that's what the show's about. So yeah, so I am an accelerated business strategist, growth consultant, and interventionist, and I help ladies in business, love my lady business owners, leverage themselves and make that next step in their business and what that looks like. So that's what I work on with my people.
I love it. One of the things before we started the show, I asked if we could talk about a little bit of your background, because you've also been part of working for your own multi-million-dollar company, but you spent many years in the medical industry. And so can you share a little bit about that and what you did?
Yeah, so I spent 24 years in level 1 cardiac surgery. Most of it was trauma, so not the scheduled ones, the ones that come through the ER. And I that really, really forms you as a quick decision maker. Really not second guessing your decisions either. And really pulling from your training and your background and being able to make those quick decisions in the moment, right?
Yeah, and I want people to know, because when I was on your show, I referred to you as Dr. Erin, and even though you're not technically a doctor, you did all the things like doctors do, and they'll walk away and leave you in to finish up. And I worked, my background is for two major law firms in Seattle. And I had a friend of mine who was a head paralegal, and he'd get ready for trial in some really big cases, do all the work, and then of course the attorney looks over, and he's the one that shows up. But it was my friend Patrick who did, and had his team of people that put it all together. So I wanted to kind of do that. So I still am going to call you Dr. Erin. I don't care, but I'm giving a disclaimer for you. You also have, which I found very scary and interesting. You had a skiing accident, and wow. Can you share with us about that?
Yeah. So yeah, that was a super, super scary time for me. I had always kind of prided myself that I was a pretty doggone good skier. I grew up skiing. We live in Michigan. We have snow all the time. We have lots of slopes by us. I had a major wipeout that actually left me partially paralyzed for almost 4 months. And it was right out of I was probably 9 or 10 months out of college on my first job. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? I was in the surgery room. I was doing surgeries at the time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my livelihood. What does this look like at 3.5 months into it? They couldn't even tell me if I was ever going to regain feeling in my hand or be able to even move my thumb like this. I was crazy. Yeah. And so just that recovery and that tenacity and that stick-to-itness to do the exercises, do the physical therapy, do the work.
Yeah.
To get you to the other side. And then, gosh, once those nerves regenerate and you start getting that feeling and you start getting that movement, then what do you get to do with it? So yeah, that was a long recovery. I'm still only about 65%.
Yeah. Everything that happens in our life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and this is obviously one of those ugly, bad situations that happened. But I also believe that you took this experience, and this helps you with helping women entrepreneurs.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
because there are women who just hit rock bottom. We all do. I still do, but we pick ourselves up quicker and faster. And you're able to motivate them because you're a living example. Like you said, I'm not 100% and I'm probably never going to be, but that's not going to stop me.
Yeah.
And so when you tell somebody you're working with, they're like, oh, I can't do this. They're like, honey, if I could go through what I went through and survive. And I also believe a lot of women have a lot of PTSD scenarios that they've been through in their life, traumatic events, but we put them up on the shelf.
For sure.
And so you uncover some of those experiences when you work with people, don't you? Do you notice those things come up?
Absolutely. And most of the time the clients don't know that's what we're doing. That discovery phase and those limiting beliefs, right? Like you do that with your clients too. And figuring out what that is that's holding them back and where it stems from. And once you can figure that out, then you can get rid of it, step over the line. Now you're on the other side of it, right? Like, hey, that's not going to hold me back anymore. Hey, yep, I wiped out pretty bad in 1992, and right at the beginning of my career, and look at me go, Look what happened because I had the tenacity to stick with the program that they put in front of me. And yep, I've been there. I've had things that have happened that have totally sucked the wind out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, guess you're supposed to stop, Erin. Nope, I'm not. I'm not stopping. So.
And you were also a middle child.
Yeah. Only girl, middle child.
Only girl, middle child. And what was that like growing up? And how do you feel that has formed you to be the woman who you are today?
Yeah, so I grew up on the hockey rink. I grew up, on the baseball and football fields. I grew up, my shoes were hand-me-downs from my brother, right? So I think a lot of, growing up with two brothers, one, it showed me mad love, like really, really, as I got older, especially and started dating boys, what that brotherly love looks like.
Yeah.
Right. And how fierce that is and how strong and how that bond is there. One, but two, I grew up in so much male energy that it really set me up to be in the operating room.
Yeah.
And in and around, I was a female in a man's world. But it also set me up because I didn't have time. And looking back now, it's like there needed to be a little bit more balance. But the male energy and that ability to separate from your emotions and that ability, because men are fabulous at that, right? Like they're pros from the time they come out of the womb.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So I think that really set me up to succeed quite well. And now now that I've been out, it's more finding the grace and finding my feminine energy and bringing that back in to my now is where we're at.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about too. You were raised in male energy mostly, except for your mom. And so now that you're working with women entrepreneurs, I believe you have the best of both worlds, because one, working in the hospital trauma environment, two, working with women and being around that female energy. But you're able to, as our coach, you can help them push through and persevere, one, because of your accident and everything you've been through. I mean, it's unfortunate what you went through, but yet it's a blessing for the people that you work with, because you're able to use your intuition, and you're very intuitive, by the way. You don't really toot your horn about that, but you really are. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I believe that's what also separates you when you do coaching with your clients.
Yeah, thanks. I have trusted it more and more and more. And quite honestly, I didn't know what it was at first. I didn't know, how come I know how to do this surgery? I've never done it before in my life. How do I know, you know what I mean? Like the intuitiveness, I didn't realize what a gift it was until recently. And now with my clients, it's, it's really interesting how I'm able to very, very quickly read them,
Yeah.
figure out what their blocks are because I can see them,
Yes.
right? I can see them. And so filling and plugging the hole is just so easy for me. And what that translates into, well, you're spending less time with me, so you're saving money.
Yes. Well, and you get right to work. I mean, it is
exactly.
It's like you tune in much quicker instead of taking time and having to fill out all these forms and trying to discover, like sitting on the therapist, couch, which we talked about in your show. You're able to get right to it. Like you're able to pick up if they'll talk about something. You're able to pick right up on it and say, hey, well, what about this? And I'm like, that's kind of weird. I never mentioned that to you. And you just kind of pick up on it. And that's the word that I've heard from people, all the testimonies and stuff for you. And that was why I wanted to have you on the show, because I want to bring on more spiritual minded leaders like yourself, because we shouldn't have to hide that woo-woo part of ourselves. It's been like a shameful, and we don't want to be in the category of being a kook either. And we're not. It's something that I want the other people that are watching the show to understand, that it's just part of who we are. It's part of our DNA and our chemistry about that.
And the cool thing about that, it's like there's no cookie cutter with what we look like, what our backgrounds are, what our demographic is, what our training is, because you and I are both very, very intuitive. You were in the law industry. I was in the medical industry. Here's two completely different backgrounds, and yet we're both extremely intuitive. So, neither one of us are walking around, with the stigma of most people that are woo, neither one of us have that appearance or that look.
Yeah. And I guess that's why I want to talk about it a little bit too, because what is the appearance of a woo-woo or the look of a woo-woo? We have in our mind, crazy things, and there's nothing wrong with those people that want to be crazy. But I want people to know that the woo can also be very business professional. Like you and I are woo-woos. And I was trying to hide away because I didn't want to be in that category being judged. But I came to this, as Jen Duchenne says, it's time to, cut through the bullshit and tell our truth. Right. And that was part of my truth, was that I do have a woo aspect to my personality and my business, but that helps me help other people as it helps you. And so I want to be able to talk about that a little bit so people can understand it's nothing to be afraid from. God gives us different gifts. God gives us gifts of singing, of painting, of designing, of learning different skills. And why wouldn't God give us the gift of insight? And so that's what I share with people, because I want people to know I'm very spiritual. You're spiritual. There's different levels of it, but I really want people to know that we shouldn't have to hide anymore when we have these unique gifts.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it has been a gift that's been given to us.
Yeah.
So if somebody gives you a gift, and it's all wrapped and it's beautiful, and you just take it and you go, thank you, and never unwrap it.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's kind of what we did until we kind of embraced it.
Yes.
Right? Like we held this really beautiful wrapped gift and didn't open it.
It's like getting, for a wedding gift, you get this beautiful, goblets, these beautiful champagne goblets, and they sit in your thing and they get dust. You never use them because you're waiting for that special occasion.
Right.
And I tell people that, like, I need to drink more water. I'm like, get out those crystal goblets. Drink water out of them. Why are you waiting for a special occasion? And it's like, why do we put things off because it has to be for something else, or we have to wait, or we cannot use that gift? Get the crystal, get the china out. Be special and embrace every day that we have.
Yeah, I love that. Because life is right now in this, oh, nope, that one left, that second left, oh, nope, there went another one, right? Like life is right now.
It is.
That special moment might never come. So use those goblets. Get them out.
Get them out. Get them. Look at how, don't you love how our shows go? They just kind of go. So now we're going to get back, because you are a leadership coach. And so I wanted people to know a little bit about you. And what are one or two tips that you can give for leadership for people who are kind of struggling, and you know, a lot of people that struggle, they're not necessarily just introverts, but a lot of them are introverted. And so they see all these other people out there having their turn in the spotlight and shining and going. What would you say to an introvert? And do you work with introverts?
I do. Yeah. Yeah. And those people get a lot of attention. They get a lot of tough love. They get a lot of pushing, but that pushing is encouraged pushing, right?
Yes.
So one of the things that my clients get to do with me is they get to make weekly declarations. So, okay, what are you declaring you're going to do this week? Okay, well, Erin, I'm going to go live in your group one time. Okay, what day are you going to go live in my group? No, because I don't let them off the handle. Okay, I'm going to go live on Wednesday. Okay, what time on Wednesday are you going to go live in my group? I'm going to go live at noon. Okay, and how are you going to hold yourself accountable? I'm going to set a timer on my thing. And how are you going to what are you going to talk about? I don't know. Well, what do you mean you don't know what you're going to talk about? You know what I mean? Like, this is how it rolls. So if you're a leader, leaders go first, right?
Yeah.
Leaders don't look backwards. They only look forwards, right? Like there's so many things. You can rely on a leader. So if I just stopped with, oh, cool, Lisa, you're going to go live in my group. Awesome. Right? And left it at that. And just shut up and didn't say another word. There's no accountability there, yes. Right?
Yes.
So when you declare, okay, Lisa, Erin, I'm going to go live in your group this week on Wednesday at noon, and I'm going to talk about leadership in your group. Awesome. I want you to text me just before you go on live so I can be on live with you and cheer you on.
Beautiful.
Right?
Beautiful. Yes.
How much more clear is that? How much more on purpose? And when you say it, oh, you know this, Lisa. When you say it and declare it, you declare it to the universe that you're going to do it. The universe is going to hold you accountable.
Yes. Well, and that goes back to mirror love that I talk about.
Yeah.
Doing those leadership affirmations in front of the mirror. A lot of people like to write down. There's nothing, write it, there's nothing wrong with writing it down because your brain registers that. But take it to the next level. And what you wrote down, your 3 to-dos on your list, say them in front of the mirror. Like you said, there's something about being accountable to yourself and the universe that's saying today, and so my affirmation this morning was I was going to have a great show with Erin today, that I was going to highlight Erin so people could see the awesomeness that she is, and let people know that you're out there and to be able to work with you. I mean, that is setting my intention, because that's what my show's about. If I can't do my show to make my guests look good, then why am I doing the show? It's not about me, it's about my guest, which is exactly why you do your show.
Right.
And so I love that you shared that leadership tip with people of being accountable. Don't just say, okay, I'm going to do a live video this week. Okay, what day? What time? What are you going to talk about? Like, you go deep.
Yeah.
And then they're prepared, so they don't have anything to be nervous about.
Right.
Because if they know their time, they know what they're going to talk about, so they can do the research. And if they're going to talk for 3 minutes on a topic, then that means they can practice in front of the mirror. Like, I'm going to practice and get comfortable. So when I go live for that 3 minutes and do that, whatever my message is, I'm relaxed and I don't look like I'm reading on a card on the side of my, you can tell those people, they're like, and then today we're going to do X, Y, and Z. You can see that. It's just like, you want to come across as a leader. Yeah. And a leader is somebody who's prepared. So can you talk a little bit about being a leader and being prepared? Can you give an example?
I always talk, there's a cool little acronym that I use that's basically 7 tips to being a great leader. And it's LDRSHIP. So leadership. Yeah. But like condensed. So like, to be a really, really good leader, you need to have love. Every single thing that you have and that you do and that you be in the world needs to be infused with love. So love your clients harder than you thought you could. And what that means, that's not tough love. That's something different, right?
Yeah.
That's when they didn't follow through with what they were saying. Loving your clients hard, your family hard, your kids hard, that's like proactive. That's all that encouragement up front. That's that rah-rah cheerleading. That's that extra text message that you send your client before they expect it.
Yes.
Right? That's love. That's part of that's right. Like,
yeah, love that.
Overdo it, right? Like even before they're your clients, you better be loving on your people. Because that know, like, and trust that everybody talks about, that like should be love.
Yes.
It should be know, love, and trust. Like, your people already better love you before they become your clients. If your people already love you,
I'm writing this down because this is your new tagline. # know, love, and trust. I love it.
Know, love, and trust. Because you don't have to pre-screen your clients if they already know, love, and trust you. Yes. If they only like you, that means they're only sort of following you. They only sort of maybe watched one of your shows. They only sort of maybe picked up your freebie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's kind of like that, oh yeah, we hung out once at the bar. That's all right, cool. Right? But
yeah.
when your clients love you before they become clients, they're your perfect, ideal, magnetized people.
Absolutely.
That also makes you a leader.
It does.
When you are pouring that love get out your wallet and give me your card.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately what you want them to do. You want them to get off their wallet and give you their credit card. Just throw them at me.
Yep. With love. I mean, because they know what they're going to get from working with you. They know, they love, they trust you.
Yeah.
So they are happy to give their credit card because they know what they're going to get in return.
They don't even ask you what you charge because they already love you.
Yes.
They
trust you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The other thing too, behind you have books. And so one of my questions to you is what book comes to mind? Because you read tons of books like I do. We love books. What is a book that comes to mind that you feel that people may not know about that to share? Like, there's a lot of the Simon Sinek, there's all the Brene Brown, but what is a book that people may not know that would be a great book for them to read?
The one that's next to my bed right now that I'm absolutely in love with is called The One Thing by Gary Keller, who is the founder of Keller Williams Real Estate and his enormous corporation that he developed. And it's called The One Thing.
Wow. I wrote that down. When people see me looking down, when I have my guests on my show and they share these great things, I am like taking notes. I'm just like, I'm going to take the notes and
no, that's me too. I go back and watch mine and I'm like, then I'm taking notes.
How valuable do you find reading books to be as a leader?
That's a non-negotiable. As a leader, like, you should be reading a book a month, if not a book a week.
Yes.
As a leader, you should be finding time in your day. Oh, the other book that I really, really like that never even leaves my my desk is called The Prophet. Can you read that? The Prophet.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, is the other one. This one's a super, super old book. I don't even know when it was published.
What's it about? What's it basically about?
This is I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Kahlil Gibran, Gibran is the author's name, and this was like written turn of the century. 1923 is when it was first published.
Wow.
1923. But the contents of this is all on love, marriage, children, giving, eating and drinking, work, joy, clothes, selling and buying, crime and punishment, laws. I mean, it's on everything.
Everything that's going on today.
Everything that's going on today. And this, I use like affirmation cards. So like with affirmation cards, you shuffle the deck and whatever comes out, that's what you're supposed to know. I do this.
Will you do that for the guests today? Will you do that for us?
Yeah. So I just stopped right here. I don't know how long this is.
It's okay.
This one.
It's our show. It's our show.
It's our show. We can go. It says, and a merchant said, speak to us of buying and selling. You can't make it up. It's right here. Of buying and selling. And he answered and said, to you the earth yields her fruit, and you shall not want of it, but you know how to fill your hands. It is in exchanging the gifts of the earth that you shall find abundance and be satisfied. I mean, that's just like the opening paragraph.
There you go.
Yet, unless the exchange be in love and kindly justice, it will be led to some greed and others to hunger. Can't make it up, people.
Wow.
Can't make it up. We were just talking about love. This right here, written in 1923, I just leapt through it and it landed right there. And it goes on to say some other things. It talks about the marketplace. It talks about invoking the master spirit of the earth. It talks about suffering the barren-handed.
Wow. I have goosebumps all over my body right now.
And the very last thing says, and before you leave the marketplace, see that no one has gone his way without empty hands. For the master spirit of the earth shall not sleep peacefully upon the wind till the need of the last of you are satisfied.
Wow.
Can't make it up.
Wow.
It's right there. It just flipped and opened, and we're talking about infusing the love, being a leader.
So being the leader, Erin, how can people find you as a leader? How can they, what's the best avenue for them to find you?
Yeah, your foot forward people go out and search, don't they?
Yes.
And they do their research, and they check, and they troll, and they hang out in their space, right? And they learn to love you. So the Erin Strayer Show is my Facebook show. Just Erin Strayer Show on Facebook. ErinStrayer.com is my website. My personal page is Erin Strayer. Pretty tough.
There we go. And it's Strayer. So
Correct.
And ERIN. So and I will attach the link to the show when I post it so they can find you. Is there any closing things that you would like to share with the viewers? Any messages, any downloads?
What's coming in is total integrity with your path. Your path is your path. It's not somebody else's. Period.
There's no competition.
The compare-itis that goes on so often out there. What's working, if it's working at all, probably isn't working. I don't know what am I trying to say. If you're trying to do it if I'm trying to do it like Lisa, it's not going to work. Because Lisa's path is different than mine, even though we both have talk show hosts.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. But there is no competition. That's where you and I are on that same path. Don't compare yourself with other people. Just be you, and the right people will show up. I
have this saying. An old mentor, a long time ago, mentor of mine said, "Erin, we as women need to complete each other instead of compete with each other." She goes, "The L is love."
Yes. And that wraps up our show for today. Thank you so much, Erin, for taking time out of your day and coming on the show. And you're just an incredible guest. And I cannot wait to connect you with my tribe, my tower. I talk about a tower within the tribe. So thank you so much. Everybody, we will be back next week, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.